Now, the response given by the former president of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Kachikwu, who has questioned the true intentions of the coalition takeover, and also speculated that Chief Ralph Nwosu's tenure as chairman had ended in August 2022 and has formed a matter of contention across courts in the country. Now, joining us virtually this morning is an editor with the New National Star, Mr. Sam Otoye. Good morning to you, Mr. Sam, and welcome to the program.
And good morning, Nigerians.
Now, let's get your thoughts. The ADC has been unveiled as the official coalition party. There have been mixed reactions to this coalition. One, from a former presidential candidate of the party, and two, from the APC and the presidency. Let's get your thoughts to these reactions and developments.
Yeah, thank you so much. The coalition was expected, and the coalition is a good one because even though there are some mixed feelings, there are some cautions here and there. The cautions have also been, they've started manifesting, because immediately after the formation, the next thing was that a faction is emerging. And I was like, this party that has not even landed, and the factions are, rolling out. I wonder what the future holds for it. But it's a good thing, it's a good development, given that all other opposing parties, the PDP, the Labour, all of them are in tatters, right? So forming a coalition that I believe with the caliber of politicians that are in it should be able to give the ruling party a very good blow, as it were. But the truth about the matter is they must put their house in order and together, because any leakage from that house will bring it to what PDP and Labour Party are suffering right now. So it's a good development, as it were. But for Kachikwu, the former presidential aspirant on that third party, I've listened to him. I've taken note of his grouses, but those grouses are not enough to make this party not function. He was not a very visible and prominent aspirant, as it were. I thought what he should have done would have been to join the coalition. And they would recognize his relevance and his presence there all this while, because he has been the person holding on to that party that they've taken over.
Now, Mr. Sam,
what I don't know is,
Mr. Sam, that's an important point you've raised. Mr. Sam, that's a very important point. On joining the ADC, debates are now that most of these politicians, have they gone to their words to join? Some of them are still members of their current political parties and have not resigned. This calls for Mr. Kachikwu also is a strong debate on how political leaders join parties. Do they follow due process of having gone to their wards? Do they also follow the due process of having resigned from the old party before this official switchover? Because this has been a much debated subject.
Yes, thank you so much. Kachikwu has a point there. But because this is Nigeria, where things work in a scattered, in a staccato manner, that's why anybody could see it as one of those things, Otherwise, they should have started from the root, which is the word. And they should have started by first resigning, because yesterday I read that Peter Obi has not resigned from Labour Party and some other ones, and meanwhile they've joined another party. What I don't know is whether this new party has actually registered them and given them cards, membership cards, which I don't think has happened. But even at that, in a sane society where things are supposed to work properly, you don't jump ship in that manner. You must first of all get to the other people and let them know that, oh, look, I'm leaving, right? So you now join another one. But because it's Nigeria, that's why we are saying and we've been harping on it, that we must get our processes and our procedures right. Otherwise, things will continue to happen this way. You remember what the senior advocate of Nigeria, Gani Fayemi, said those days? He said, in a state of lawlessness, it is unlawful to be law-abiding. That is actually what is happening in this country. We are in a state of lawlessness. So it's unlawful for you to be law-abiding. So everything is done in a staccato manner. And that is what they've done. And who will question them? Because those in power too are doing the same. You see? So this kind of chaotic situation in Nigeria, we honestly need to address it. And we must address it between now and 2027 so that things can begin to work as a nation. This country is not working as a nation. It's not working like a country, you know. So what they've done is wrong. That is the truth. But nobody should question them because that is what other people are doing. For Kachikwu, yes, he's aggrieved. They've just swept him off his feet, you know, pulled the rug off his feet suddenly, you know. But I believe in the course of time, they will still, you know, do the right things. Even pay homage to Kachikwu because that guy has been there for that party that they've taken over. They need to pay homage to that young man. You know, he has done well for that party and with that party. And they can't just come from the back door and take it over from him and think he will keep quiet. He will not. He will continue to talk until they do the right thing. So I think that is my thoughts.
Now let's get your reactions to the statement from the APC. The APC and the presidency has questioned the true intentions of this coalition. They're saying it's more of a power play and a power grab other than providing alternatives to Nigeria in terms of fixing some of our desires and yearnings for a better quality of life.
Yes, thank you so much. You see, APC is just making a rhetoric, right? Because they that are in power, that have all the resources, are not bettering the lives of Nigerians. So you must remove the speck in your eye first before you talk about the log in another person's eye. That is actually what is playing out here. APC, in fact, they don't have that moral standing to talk about those that are coming to play politics and grab power. That is what they've done, and that is what they're doing. So when I heard them say that, I just discounted it, because these people here, these people in the new coalition, they are part of them. They are not they that are there, that have all the resources now. See killings everywhere in Nigeria, see hunger everywhere. All these policies and programs that are rolling out. Is it why somebody should join them and say, oh, you are doing leadership? There's no leadership going on already. So if this guy can come in and take that gap that they've created and do something better, right? And do something new, why not? That is what it should be. Because they're going to cash in on their gaps, on their loopholes, to now see how the people can begin to, you know, accept them, right? So that should be the game right now, and that should be the focus of the coalition, for them to change the system, for them to do something different from what APC is doing right now. Because APC, anyway, they're all playing politics, because they are not doing the right thing, they're not doing the thing they're supposed to do, and they can't just talk down on these guys that are coming to grab power. Why not? Why not? It's all about power. They will get the power first before they begin to do their own programs and leadership, as it were. They that are there are not doing it.
Now, Mr. Sam, the credential of some of the opposition leaders
to talk to them about that.
The credentials of some of the opposition leaders who are part of this coalition, particularly the former Senate President, Senator David Mark, has been called to question by the FCT minister. The FCT minister strongly questioned his performance over his 2-term as the Senate President, saying that he had not been able to attract even a single project to his hometown of Otukpo in Benue State. And for him to be national chairman of the ADC, he wonders if he would be able to perform given the power he so seeks.
Yes, thank you so much. Honestly, when I saw David Mark as the chairman of the party, I was a bit worried, because what the FCT minister said is correct, because I've interacted with Benue, Otukpo, Idoma people, and they've told me that, look, the Senator David Mark is a leprous finger in his place, that he has not done anything, that even in his immediate kindred, much more talking about the community and the state and all of those, is a bad one for him. It's a bad one for him as a person, But for whatever reason, the coalition had decided to make him the chairman of that setup. I don't know where they're coming from. After all, there are other people that are more credible, as it were, that should have handled that position. But then, let's see how it goes. He's not going to be the presidential aspirant, so he's only chairman of a party. Chairman of a party, yes, you can say that his image should be an image maker, as it were. But still going back to Nigeria and what we have been seeing here, the immediate past APC chairman, we know his history also, right? So that's why I always say that, look, this is the same people and they're doing the same thing. So who has the moral justification to talk down on the other person, on the other party, right? So after all, David Mark, what Nyesom Wike has said that he didn't do any development in his place and all that. That one is a simpler matter compared to when you're looting dollars, right? And other things, and people are seeing it. So that is the point we're making here. So in Nigeria now, there are greater sins, and smaller sins, and all of those. So, but somebody will say, sin is sin. But then that is not, in Nigeria, it's being graduated, it's being calibrated, and it's based on that calibration where you fall that will determine people's reaction. If David Mark, his only sin is that he has not brought development to his place and all that, I think he's in a smaller sin and cannot be sacrificed on that altar, So let him be, and let us see how that coalition pans out. Because what we are waiting for that coalition is when they begin to field their leaders, their presidential aspirants, and all of those. That's where things will begin to, get criticized, as it were.
Now, Mr. Sam, let's talk about the move over as well, because I listened to the former Rivers Governor, His Excellency Rotimi Amechi, who said that he has officially resigned. This is alongside the former Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami SAN, who also announced his resignation from the All Progressive Congress APC. Now, there are two foremost APC members who have made this official announcement, both for Mr. Peter Obi, his silence on this matter has sparked debates between the two factions in the Labour Party. The Barrister Julius Abure faction has issued a 48-hour ultimatum to Mr. Peter Obi to resign his membership from Labour Party. However, Senator Nanedi Usman has said that Mr. Peter Obi has the blessings of the party to do as he wills. What's your take on this divided stance?
Thank you so much. Peter Obi is an Iroko in Nigeria politics. He's an Iroko in anti-corruption tough, as it were. So he's not a man. In fact, he's a man in Nigeria today that can decide to belong to 20 parties, and people won't bother. What they're looking out for is, Peter Obi, come out and become our president. That it is you that we want. That is where that guy is, right? And I don't think any criticism, will really put that guy under the bus. No. So, but the truth about the matter is, if Peter Obi has not done so, I believe that he will do. There's no two ways about that. For Julius Abure, that is giving 48 hours ultimatum and all that, Julius Abure cannot come near where Peter Obi sits. Even stands. So he should forget about the threat. The threat is a mere platitude, right? So Peter Obi, in the course of time, for whatever reason, he has not resigned. He's a man of process and procedure. So, but for whatever reason that has made him not to resign, I think he will do that. And I don't think it's a big issue as far as Nigerians are concerned. The obedience and the youth of this country, are concerned. So is not. I don't see it as a very germane issue, as it were, because of the personality involved.
Now let's talk about the personalities of the former VP Alhaji Atiku Abubakar alongside ex-Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasser El-Rufai, who also are yet to resign from their legacy parties. What do you make of their delay in resignations? Can it be tied to the fact that they might not be vying for any offices on the new structure of the coalition party?
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, the duo of Atiku and El-Rufai. You see, this resignation thing, I think that is where the opposition is coming with serious attack right now, because that has affected almost every other person in the new coalition. You've not resigned. They should forget about it. This is an internal democracy, as they call it. So it's not their business. But what I'm trying to say is that for Malam El-Rufai and Atiku Abubakar, they will also resign like others, and be fully part of the coalition. The issue of resignation here and there shouldn't take the center stage of the political evolution in the country right now. And in due time and due course, they will all resign. But for whether they are going to vie, I don't see them vying, because that would be a minus to the coalition. Atiku Abubakar, Nigerians are almost tired of his political hunger. That is why people are saying that, they don't have any leadership thing to give. They only want to grab power. It's because of people like Atiku Abubakar. If he steps aside, that would be better for him. He will go home with that image of, a patriotic Nigerian. But if he tries to come out again, I don't think that would be good for him. For El-Rufai, his antecedents as a governor of just past governor of Kaduna State are not really very good. So vying again, I don't think so. He will vie. I don't think he will vie for any position. You see, this new coalition must be careful. I said it earlier. They must be careful in picking those that will fly their flags, right? They will be very careful, because that is where the opposition, the ruling party, is waiting for them. And that is where Nigerians also are waiting for them. Because Nigerians, if you ask them now, they can tell you who they want to be what, right? All those permutations are there. They shouldn't go out of what Nigerians are thinking. That is why they must work and be thorough about what they're doing in terms of fielding candidates and aspirants. I think that is what I think it is.
Now, Mr. Sam, still on the issue of political party ideology, this spate of defections, this spate of coalition forming has put into the front burner debates on party ideologies, and even in terms of the campaign mantras of these parties. What is Nigeria becoming in its multi-party system in regards to party ideologies and campaign promises?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think what is going on now, and for a while in the country, party ideology and all of those things have been eroded by the corruption level, in the country. Because you talk about ideology where things are working, where policies and procedures and processes are working. That is where you talk about ideology. Because ideology is like the blood, that is in a setting, that is in a setup, right? So that blood has been drained over the years by corruption in this country, right? So talking about defection, political ideology, and all of those things they've been consigned, to platitudes. They are rhetorics, because they don't work, they don't function, So the truth about the matter is, until we create a new Nigeria where things will begin to work sanely, properly, that's when those things will come back. But for now, they've taken their flight, right? So we'll continue to do what we are doing, garbage in, garbage out, until we get it right. And those things will begin to function again, right? So deflation all the way. Who cares? Who cares? That's where we are now. Who cares? You know? So if until we get it right, last night I was watching the Patriots. You know, I don't know whether you know about them, the killers, the Anyokos, you know, many of them. In fact, most of them politicians also talking about, you know, how to the summit. What do they call it now?
The Patriot Summit.
What they call this summit? You know, so that is where they sit in a round table and now discuss how Nigeria can function again.
The Constitutional Summit,
you mean,
Mr. Sam?
Ideologies will begin to work.
Mr. Sam, are you referring to the Constitutional Summit?
Constitutional Summit, beautiful. You know, so that table is very important. It's very, very important. In fact, because of interests here and there, you know, ulterior interests as they are, they will not allow that thing to work before 2027. Otherwise, the first thing we should have done, this country should have done, is to hold that constitutional summit. You know, look at the things that are wrong and put them right before the elections. But I know, because I've been in this country since I was born, I know that they won't allow it work. So it's going to be one of those things they say and they promise and it will not happen. But for me, the annual course, you know, they've come a long way. They are old men. They are elders of this country. They should be able to put up one or two things and maintain their grounds that, look, this thing must hold. You know, if it holds, and remember what happened the constitutional conference under Jonathan, right? Up to today, people are still talking about it. Let's have that document. Let's have that document. It was a good one, but where is the document? You see, that is why things are getting very tiring in this country, right? So such constitutional summits and conferences should hold for a proper Nigeria to be delivered, right? And with those, if those things are done, all these back and forth processes and procedures and policies will be put in proper places, and Nigeria will begin to work again. So until those things happen, the defections and the ideologies, all those things will continue to falter, you know. So that is my thought on it.
Now take a listen to the new national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Senator David Mark, following his inaugural speech. Take a listen.
We are gathered here this afternoon in pursuit of our shared mission to rescue our country and save our hard-earned democracy. Oh, okay. They say I should rope myself properly. I address you formally today on the operational focus and structure of the new political coalition that brings together Nigeria's diverse opposition groups, political parties, youth organizations, civil society, and other patriots from all corners of our vast lands, committed to saving the very soul of our destiny, of our republic. Let it be known to all that this coalition of national political opposition groups goes beyond gaining political power. It is a concerted effort to build the crumbling pillars of Nigeria's democracy. Today marks the beginning of what we believe will be a long, difficult, and tedious journey. We have no mistake in our mind at all that this is not going to be an easy task. However, it is a journey that we are prepared to undertake, united in our collective belief that no price or sacrifice is too high in the service of our fatherland. It is on record that within 2 years of the current administration coming to power, it has hijacked all democratic institutions and sent our country on a creeping descent into total civilian dictatorship. The blatant destabilization and the infiltration of all major opposition political parties is aimed at achieving only one objective: to enhance total state capture and leave Nigerians with no alternative options in 2027. This coalition is to prevent our country's descent into a one-party state. We have never seen a government so much at home with corruption. A government that disdains accountability in all ramifications. A government more concerned with the next election rather than the survival of the ordinary Nigerians. A government so totally consumed with politicking that governance is abandoned, while the majority of our people wallow in hunger and in poverty. We have never seen this level of insecurity across the length and breadth of our nation. Bandits and kidnappers kill Nigerians at will and on a daily basis. Yet, this ongoing tragedy has not moved the government to any action that will stop these mindless killings and stem the tide of needless bloodshed. Indeed, the Nigerian people deserve a government that protects them and makes them feel safe in their various homes. Equally disturbing is the total emasculation of the legislative institutions. Never in our history have we witnessed a National Assembly where legislators, the trustees of the very bastion of our democracy, saddled with the sacred duty to protect Nigerians from misuse of executive powers, are reduced to cheerleaders and praise singers of the president, who is the head of the executive arm. Without doubt, the transformation of Nigeria's National Assembly to a mere appendage of presidential authority is a dangerous conspiracy against the Nigerian people. It is the reason why the government is able to get away with various whimsical, unconstitutional policies and actions or inactions that have reduced more Nigerians to abject poverty and widened the boundaries of insecurity and fear.
Now, Senator David Mark there speaking, and he has also called into question the performance of the National Assembly, saying during his time as a two-term President of the Senate, they had never been cheerleaders to the executive. Quite the strong words in that regard. Now, before we let Mr. Sam Otoye go, would like your reactions, Mr. Sam, to that comment made by the former Senate President.
Yeah, thank you so much. Without mincing words, I think the Senate President, Senator David Mark, is 70% correct in his judgment of today's National Assembly. Yes, because just as I said, I've been here for close to 60 years, so I followed all these trajectories. When David Mark was there as the Senate President and the National Assembly at that time, things were different from what we are seeing today. Today's situation has gone so abysmally poor that if they run this cycle once again in terms of another 4 years, we don't even know where they will throw this country into. I think they will throw it into an abyss, you know, a bottomless pit, as it were, because of what they are doing and what they've done so far within these 2 years in power. The National Assembly has totally reduced itself to an
Now, Mr. Sam, the conversations are on one of the comments made by the current Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, who says that Nigerians should not expect both arms of government to be in fist-cuffs, that yes, they do have agreements, but it's not in the purview of the media to be captured, that they settle the agreements behind closed doors like a husband and wife would. What do you make of this disposition of the current Senate President in response to what Senator David Market said?
Honestly, that statement is laughable, because power, leadership is not like a husband and wife affair. It is not. It's totally a different game. So, husband and wife, they sleep together, and that kind of situation, what it craves about. But that is not in terms of leadership. Anybody that handles leadership like husband and wife affair has totally failed in that leadership assignment. So I quite disagree, to that postulation or comment, as it were, that what they are doing. If they are in that marriage, if the executive and the legislature, as they stand today, are in such marriage, that means this country should look for an alternative, because that is not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a case of, you drag me, I drag you, right? And we come to a table and reconcile. That is not what marriage is all about. Marriage has always a weaker vessel, which, of course, the Holy Book has stated, So the wife is always loyal to the husband, Even when the husband is getting into excesses, the wife will still abide, to a very high degree. But that does not happen in leadership. So if that is the position of the National Assembly as it is today, I think they need to change that focus, right? They need to be more they need to activate what the ingredients, the stuff a National Assembly should be made of, and not this other way they're looking at it.
All right. Mr. Sam Otoye, we must thank you. We've come full circle on a review of headline stories making the rounds on the front pages this morning. We appreciate you for joining the conversation.
Thank you so much, and it's my pleasure.